Hey guys, I just wanted to film a video because I know that a lot of seniors are going into their freshman year of college, and I just finished my freshman year. Well, I'm actually going into my sophomore year, so I actually just wanted to make a video and give all my tips, kind of like what I think you should buy, or what I think you should join, or what I think you should be aware of while you're going into your freshman year. I have it all on my iPad, so yeah, I really just wanted to put this video out there because there's a lot of things that I really wish I knew, and I think with college there's a ton of uncertainty. So I think if there's anything that I can do to help, I'd love to help. But yeah. Also, I have a little Sonny Angel. Like, isn't that adorable? So let's get into it. Like, I even have a huge thing. My number one tip, speaking of iPads, my first tip is gonna be get an iPad for notes. Everything is digital now, and you don't realize that it's so easy to take a picture of slides because lectures are almost always slides. Take a picture of slides, write on the slides, download the slides. You can do papers that your college professors send out on your iPad if you just download them and write on them. So much easier than having to print them, because while you can print them, it becomes just papers that are getting lost. They become harder to organize. While if you can just download an app on your iPad, it's so much easier to manage. Personally, that's what I did, and so easy. And it doesn't even have to be an expensive one. It can be a used iPad. That's what I did. I bought an iPad Air 10 because I only ever use it for notes, and I got a used iPencil or something, whatever they're called, stylus, and it works perfectly fine. I really don't use my iPad for anything else, maybe watch YouTube vlogs every now and then, but definitely invest in an iPad. I loved mine coming in. Okay, and then my second one is definitely going to be whenever you're looking into what dorm you're going to stay in, make sure if you tour the school or if you're looking at a map of the school or whatever, make sure you know where on campus it is. Because luckily enough, I was more in the main part of campus because I had to stay there for a scholarship I had. But a lot of the friends I had just got a nicer dorm, but all the way on the edge of campus. So it was really hard. It was 2 miles to their classes. And yes, there's shuttles, but sometimes it's really tricky to navigate them. And I think just keeping in mind where you are. And usually in dorms, you can see on the website, it'll be near the library, near the caf, near blah, 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 blah. So you can kind of see on a map, you're okay, well, it's kind of central to campus, it's kind of on the edge, and I think that is a really important thing to consider. Not just the amenities it's near, not just, oh, it's near this dining hall, which means it's gonna be good. Not always. Half the time I went to a dining hall all the way across campus because that one was better. So take your chances, yeah. Also, when you do get a roommate, I would recommend reaching out to them as soon as possible if you don't already know them. I was paired with my roommate my first year, and obviously I was paired with my best friend. I was paired with my best friend my freshman year, which is really great because we were able to divide up the costs. We were able to be okay, you can buy a rug, I'll buy the utensils, you can buy the pots, and I'll buy the fridge, blah, 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 all this stuff. And it worked out really well. So we didn't have to buy doubles of everything. And I guess if you're a person that wants singular things, that's great. But when it comes to being a freshman in college, it's really hard to manage buying all that stuff, especially since you're kind of managing a lot of costs on your own. So I'd really recommend just reaching out to that person. Most of the time you can find their email address on your room summary on the housing page, and that's how I would do it. But yeah, I think rooms can start getting pricey really fast, so it's really great to reach out to them earlier than later. And number 2, find what works with your roommate. This is not all roommate stuff, it just happens to be the first stuff that I wrote down. But find what works for you and your roommate, and don't be afraid to set boundaries when you get there. And it doesn't even have to be a thing that's you can never let a guy over, never. You can just be hey, since we're sharing a room, what are some things that you want to do? What are some things you don't like, just to make it easier to live together? And that will completely change the relationship, because so many times, so many people had came to me in my freshman year and been I hate that my roommate does this. It's so annoying that my roommate does this. I wish they never did this, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just this could all be really solved if y'all just set that boundary earlier in the year. If you just said, hey, I really prefer if lights go out past 11, at 11, you know, because I have all 8 a.m.s. You know, that makes sense. Or if you were like, yeah, I'd really prefer if you didn't turn the big light on whenever you leave for class early in the morning, but you can totally turn your lamp on. Like, setting those boundaries is really important because then you don't blow up later. And even setting boundaries as you go is necessary so you don't blow up. If you notice something you don't like starts happening, say it immediately. Start hinting at it or else it's gonna go bad. Like, even with me and my best friend, obviously we never had like the hugest fight over everything, but we had a lot of miscommunication sometimes, and it's because we didn't set clear boundaries because we were already best friends, so we thought things would just work out. But yeah, boundaries are really important to set, and it doesn't have to be weird. It can be totally normal, and it is the best thing for sharing a room with people. Even if you're not sharing like a room, like, because I shared a one room with people. Like, it wasn't like I had my own room, we shared a living room. No. Even if you're sharing like a living room and you have your own rooms, it's even good to set boundaries then, you know, just so like people you don't know isn't coming over if you don't want that. Like, maybe someone needs to clean up more, stuff like that. Number 3 is, that's actually an important thing, get mood lights. Like, dorm room lighting is so bad. It is almost always horrible, and half the time me and my roommate never had the big light on. We would always have like, I had string lights, a lamp, and like a reading light, and it saved me. It was so, and it makes the area so much cuter. It makes it very vibey, like so much better too. It's more homey also, especially when you want that home kind of taste of home. And the big light, it just kind of gives you a headache, and it's just too bright and not in the best way. Like, so just get a mood light, or if you get one of those sunset lamps, that works too. But those are all really amazing. And then while you're going to move there, it's inevitable that you will forget something, because I actually just ran out of storage, but we're back. Maybe a little wonky, but we're back. Okay, what I was gonna say is that it is inevitable that you will forget something. Like, I tried to be the person that was like, okay, I will pack as much as I can so that when I get there, I don't forget stuff. But you will. But the good thing is, like, colleges usually have things really close on campus, like grocery stores or gas stations, or they even have like grocery store type places built into campus. So it will be okay. You will be able to buy stuff. The only thing is, if you want to kind of prevent that, or you want to go with as much as you can, go through your daily life and write down a list of everything you use. Like, I mean, like, wake up, pillow, blanket, eye mask, whatever, go to the bathroom, toothbrush, cleansing wipes, like everything you might interact with, because you are going to need a version of it at college, or you're going to need a packet from here to college. And also think about the fact that you will either want a double of everything you have, or you will want to just have some doubles or some things you just bring over there. Because for me, I didn't want to kind of break apart my room. I still wanted to come home and feel like home. So I got a lot of doubles of things. I got like doubles of curtains, doubles of pillows, blah, blah, blah. That's why I actually have a different pillow. And that's what worked for me. But maybe you want that part of home there. So kind of just think about that. And then I think apply for early scholarships is the most, like, almost the number one thing. If you do anything, listen to this. Please apply for scholarships early on, because there are so many things that close past, like, I want to say maybe like July, August. That is when things close. That is when you can't really get a lot of aid for the next year. For example, like, I got a full ride to Texas State, and the scholarship there was due December of my senior year, or December or January my senior year, and they gave out the results in April, and we had an interview in like March. And then other scholarships that I got, I had started getting like awards type in May, June. So it's really important that you try to apply as early as you can, because I think once it goes past summer, you really won't be able to get that much aid. And that actually goes for schools also. Don't just feel like you can't find scholarships like from your high school or around your town, because most schools have scholarship websites. And I think a lot of people forget that. You can usually apply on the scholarship websites just one application and it'll apply to all of them. And that's what saved me, because I got a lot from there too. So definitely check that out. And also, it never hurts to call your financial aid and ask them, hey, I don't know what to do. I need this much, blah, blah, blah. Because sometimes they will give you more just for asking more. And sometimes they will be like, well, here's this scholarship, and they will definitely direct you in the best way. So use your resources because they are definitely out there. And the next thing is when you make a list of your colleges, do not settle, because I know so many people that have transferred colleges because it wasn't what they wanted. It wasn't what they expected, but they just settled for it. Like, one of my friends was thinking about Texas State or a different one, and he just toured the first one, and he was like, yep, this is fine. And then he never toured anywhere else. And so keep in mind what you want. Keep in mind the city life, the school life, the academics, maybe your friends that are going, because that's really important too. Think about if they have your major. Like, I think that is very valuable. And it never hurts if you know anyone to call them and ask, because everyone loves talking about their school and everyone's so friendly about it. And yeah, just keep that in mind. I would never settle for a school. But also, no, if you don't like it, you can always transfer. So that's the best thing, I think. Oh my gosh, I lost my spot. Oh, never mind. Okay. This one hit me kind of like a truck, but be aware that you are going to have to alter study methods, because this is coming from someone who had a really high GPA in high school and did really well, and I kind of centered a lot of my worth around academics. And then when I went to college, I started studying the same way, and it did not work at all. Like, college is a lot different than high school in the way that they just expect you to study, and they expect you to know it by the next class. And by the time you take the quiz and the test, it's not their job to make you memorize it. It's just their job to tell you about the information, and then you kind of learn it, you know? That's the best way I can put it. So try new study methods. Don't be afraid to try new study methods, because after I took my first exam, I definitely got a C on a couple of my first exams. So I had to go from flashcards and memorizing to active recall and the Pomodoro method, I think that's what it's called, and whiteboards. I love whiteboards. Get yourself a whiteboard if you're going to college. Okay, everyone uses them and I love mine. But you're definitely going to have to try new things, or maybe you're a person that will totally do fine, but in my experience, a lot of my friends felt the same way. Also, say yes to so many things when you get here. And I know that'll be hard, especially going out of your comfort zone, but the first week of school, first 2 weeks, is when people start making their friend groups. And everyone will be friendly to you. Texas State Welcome Week was the first place where everyone was talking to everybody. It was the first time since elementary school. Everyone was so friendly and wanting to be friends. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. It was not awkward to just walk up to someone and be like, hey, what's up? What's your major? Where are you from? And so if you want to go out, if you want to make friends, go out and say yes to things, because people will be inviting you. They'll be like, we're doing this later, we're doing that, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, don't do anything dangerous, and don't let people push you into things you don't want to. But I mean, if they're going for ice cream and you're like, oh, I'm tired, I would just say yes to go getting ice cream, because you never know what might happen. And a lot of people make their friends in that first week. So yeah, and kind of on that, whenever I first got to college, I kind of felt like I didn't know who I wanted to be. I didn't know what I had to be. I didn't know what everyone else was doing. And I think that kind of made me feel really confused. And I think my tip is just to give yourself so much grace, because I remember feeling so sad for a while and being like, well, I don't know if I'm supposed to be partying. I don't know if I'm supposed to be in my room studying all night. I don't know if I need to be this. I don't know if I need to have a lot of friends. I don't know if I need to be all this stuff. And then I realized later on, I talked to a lot of the other kids from my scholarship. We all got together and actually talked about that first week of school. And we all actually felt the exact same way. The exact same way. We didn't know who we should have been. And I think that's just important to keep in mind, that no one knows what they're doing or if it's right. And I think college is where you're going to get those most growing pains. And it's okay to not know what you want to know, you know? But also, before you get your meal plan, this is kind of around the time that people are going to get their meal plans, think about how much you eat. like kind of calculate it, because those meal plans will be like 127 meals, 2 retail swipes. So usually retail swipes are the brands on campus. Like let's say McDonald's, Panda Express. You can use a swipe there and it counts as a meal swipe for the week. So if you have 7 and you go to a retail store and you use 1 retail swipe, it counts as your retail swipe for the week and a meal swipe. So let's say you have, like, and this is how I did it. Let's say you are doing the math on the 127 meal ones and you have 10 weeks of school. I would divide that by 10 so you know how many meals you have per week-ish. And then you can be like, okay, yeah, that's good. Or no, that's way too much. Because so many times around me, people had bought such a large meal plan that they would have so much left over that it would have saved them so much money if they had just gotten a smaller one. And same thing with your dining dollars. Those are like extra things that you can buy so that you can just use money at the retail stores instead of a retail swipe. But a lot of people would buy so much dining dollars that they would just drain down because sometimes they wouldn't roll over. So I would definitely calculate and try to guess the best you can how much you eat, because it's really just a waste if you don't. And you will not eat as much as you think. Like, I promise you. I got like an extra one just because I was like, well, I don't know. Like, I did the math and I was like, well, maybe just in case. No, you won't. Also, bring a med container. I made a video on like what I had in my med container, which is basically, it got me through the whole year. Perfect. If you need advice, go look at that video because everything in there was perfect. I never bought another medicine the whole time. But it definitely saves you because you will get sick, you will get allergies, you will get bug bites, everything. But the med thing is a savior. But not just medicines, like get first aid stuff, you know, just to save you. And then if you do laundry, I recommend bringing a rolling laundry cart, a rolling one, because I got a backpack one. No, it might be compact, but it just wasn't that great. If you want to kind of lug that around, like that's you, like you can do that. Me personally, I did not like doing that. So I would just get a rolling cart if you have laundry rooms in your dorm, and if not, even more of a reason to get a rolling cart because you're gonna have to be carrying that around campus. And speaking of rolling cart, another tip, get a little red wagon. I brought a little red wagon to school, and there's so many times my neighbors would knock on my door and they would be like, can we borrow your little red wagon for groceries if I was moving out for the weekend, you know, just to see my family, if I was coming back with things for move in, for move out. So helpful. There's not even so many amount of times I use this little red wagon. So get yourself a little wagon. And then another thing just to keep in mind is that you will feel homesick. Like, unless you really have been looking forward to this, well, even if you've been looking forward to this, maybe if you had not a great home life, but you will be homesick and everyone around you is homesick, and it is hard. It is hard to be away from home for the first time and be bombarded with new classes and new friends and a new routine and a new place to live. And like I said before, just be gentle with yourself, call your friends, hang out, just do the things that you know will feel good at the time, because it's a really hard moment in your life. And I think people really underestimate how hard that can be on some people. And going again with like connecting with people, I remember the girls on my floor all came together and we played a game of We're Not Really Strangers. And one of the girls, it was like a question of like, what are you suffering from right now? And she was like, I'm actually like really homesick. Like, I've been crying every night. And all of us were like, oh my God, me too. Like, I thought I was the only one. Like, I thought I was such a baby, like, blah, 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 blah. But no, like, every one of these grown kids missed their home. And I think that's such a cute thing. Like, give yourself grace. Everything will be okay, you know? Okay, and just a few more. Another one is if you want to make friends and have those really, like, thoughtful connections, I would join clubs that are kind of things that you're interested in. For example, I'm in Her Campus, which is a magazine, like, writing group, and we publish articles. And then I'm in FMA, which is the Fashion Merchandising Association, in stem cell research, and I'm even in a dance performing group. And I found a lot of friends through those, especially through like my scholarship organization and Her Campus. I found so many girls that I hang out with outside of class and that I text all the time. And I think for a lot of friendship, not only like when you like the person, but it's seeing them consistently outside of like a place. Like, you know, you make friends in your classes, you make friends at work, you make friends in your hometown, at your school. And I think it's really about like relativity. So, you know, don't be afraid to join groups. And there are so many clubs on campus. Like, there will be something for everybody, I promise. And a lot of the times at the beginning of the year, they'll have like club fairs or organization fairs. So that's something to look out for. And kind of like piggybacking off of that, there are so many resources at so many universities, and I think people are undermining them. And I think when a lot of people struggle, it's because they're not using them. For example, I'm a writing tutor, but there's also something we have called Slack, and it's like chemistry, algebra, like lots of other things that they tutor, and you can just walk into the library, they help you with your homework, and walk out, and it's there every single day. Or we have food pantries, or you can kind of do something like volunteering organizations. But there's something for everyone if you're struggling. There's even therapy that's for free at Texas State. So there's a lot of resources and a lot of beneficial things that can help people succeed that I don't think they know about. And look for those, because it will make your life 1,000 times easier, I promise, as someone that has been to that algebra tutoring more than like 100 times. But yeah, those are all the tips that I have, everything that I kind of jumbled into one from my first freshman year. And while it was a really scary and kind of unnerving experience, it was really exciting, and I think I had a lot of opportunities, and I'm really grateful that I took the chance to move away from home and was kind of found comfort in the uncomfortable, you know? But yeah, bye guys.